Quite often I come on here and I talk about reasons why the economy and especially the dollar is going to go through a collapsing period. The reason why I am doing this is to give information that I consider to be truthful information, the best of the ability that I can give. And I do this to help people prepare for what I think is coming. I'm not trying to come across as far as a negative way of the information, but more of a truthful way of the information. If the news happens to be like this, then apparently this is the way it is. I have came on here and said that the future is very bright, and I do think that after we get through this whole situation, everything is going to be magnificent. But I haven't talked too much about ways of how the economy needs to go through the recovery process until today. And first off, I'm going to talk about the way they want to improve the economy. They want to get lending back on the banks, and they're doing a lot of this quantitative easing. And the way I see quantitative easing, it's like a drug, like morphine or oxys, which are painkillers. The more you take this medication, the worse off it's going to be, because you're going to be craving this. And when you go through the withdrawal symptoms, if you stop taking it, as any drug addict would know, it's going to have it's going to be difficult. Let's just put it that way. But the big thing about taking the drug is, at first when you take it, you feel great. The pain you have feels like it's gone. It's really still there, but you're just numbing the pain. But the problem is, when the medication wears off, the pain can sometimes be worse. But when you take more of this medication, then you're going to need either more of it, or the effects aren't going to be as good as it was before. The first time you feel it, it feels amazing. The second time it feels really good, and it doesn't feel as good the more and more you take it. That's how I see the quantitative easing as it is. We have a situation in this world where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and that's because of the greed of the monetary system. And it's very simple. When you have money, making your first 100,000, well, that can be difficult, but making the next 100,000 isn't as difficult. Your first million, wow, that's really difficult. But once you make your first million, your next $1 million is not as hard, because you have the capital to do it. If you look at many of these balance sheets of these companies like the McDonald's and the Walmarts, they're making so much money. And then we talk about, say, the unemployment rate. I see the unemployment rate as something as in a slavery issue. When you have a job, we are slaves to the dollar. Now, this is something I want to get away from, and I see a resource-based economy as the way to go. Now, a resource-based economy takes so much time to implement, and we're going to have to come together to work to go through this stage, but it takes a lot of time. And a resource-based economy says that the future slaves of this world would be our robots. Heck, they are still our slaves now, but based on what Zeitgeist is saying, it seems as if that the people in charge, or the elites of this world, are doing what they can to get as few of these robots in, because it is hurting the unemployment rate. If you look at production by these factories around town, I can see it just in the local area, that there used to be this food factory here that would have so many employees, and what happened was they added so many robots in, which reduced the employees, and yet production was going higher. Folks, I think if we can make robots our future as far as doing our work for us, then we can make the unemployment rate go higher, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up to around 90%. And I see that as a good thing, because they are doing the work and then we are not. We as humanitarians have to work to evolve and to be able to be productive like we are, but would you rather do the work that you hate so much, or would you rather have a robot do it? So I see the future as in this world as in creating technology. Technology to me is in the baby ages, and that's what we need for the resource-based economy to work. So here are some key things that can help the economy recover. And the first thing is we gotta stop the lying. Start telling the truth. And yes, you can say, well, the truth hurts. You know what? You're right. It does hurt. But as Peter Schiff says, we got to go through the pain of this recession so that we can get through it. The more that we lie, the more that you go through all this quantitative easing, the worse it's going to be. And as much as the truth hurts, the truth of the manifestations that the lying is going to produce is going to hurt even more. So yeah, it may hurt for us to start telling the truth on how the dollar is created, but at least we can progress to a positive future. And that's exactly it. The truth on the dollar being created. Now, anyone who wants to know the truth can find it. At least majority of the people trying to find it will actually find it, because of the videos like the Zeitgeist series, like the Money as Debt. But if you're watching TV on the mainstream like CNBC or ABC or Family Channel, you are not going to see how the money is created. If you go to school, which would be like an accounting or an economics or business course, they're not going to tell you how the money is created, because they're lying to us. And that needs to be fixed for the economy to recover. Canceling the debts will also work towards recovering the economy, because Mr. Obama, the whole president situation, wants to restore lending. Well, we're going to get back into this whole mess. If you just do the X's and O's and see how money being as debt works, the debts can only get higher. There is, without, like Zeitgeist and the Money as Debt says, without money, we got to have debt to have money. To have money, we have to have debt. Those work hand in hand. And the more that interest rates are being charged, the more debt we have. And we got to fix that problem. So you can talk about a new currency, and you can say, heck, we're even going to back it by gold and silver and commodities. Okay, but how are we going to eliminate the debt situation? That is what we need to do. And the biggest thing as society is come together and work together. Instead of fighting each other with war, come together and find solutions. It doesn't matter what language we speak, it doesn't matter what country we are from, but come together and work on progress to find solutions to this problem. And the big thing is truth.